consciousazine.com Chronicles.
What's up? I'm Benjamin Kallenberg, consciousazine.net, another organic portal video. I know a lot of people want to see this one because I saw your views on the first one, and you're probably thinking when I titled the video How to Sense Archons Penetrating the Veil, I'm guessing some of you were thinking I was going to show something dimensional or something, I don't know, but like I said, I'm going the opposite way in this little mini-series of how to sense our Archons, because I think it's more practical and pragmatic. You live here, sure, Archons can be discussed, you know, in a higher dimensional perspective and all that, but I really don't think that's as relevant to talking about it here, and especially in terms of organic portals, which is really what I'm talking about at the moment a lot. And I'm really churning through videos about organic portals, and these are the people that these things come through, so it makes much more sense for me to talk about it in a pragmatic, lower dimensional sense, and that's how we're discussing it here. So, as I said in one of the other videos, or below one of the other videos, you have to see them by their behavior. Not 8 meter tall, blah blah blah, they're this, they're that, the demiurge, they're like, there's so many things people are saying about Archons which just confuses people. I'm not even going to mention some of these things. I've been out there watching a few videos in the last few weeks on it actually. There's a lot of things that are just not very practical, in my opinion. And this is much more practical for you to see just how the organic portal is channeling the archonic energy, basically, I guess we'll say. So it's kind of more sly compared to, say, the reptilian. They're very overt. However, that's not to say, oh no, my computer's still loading, sorry. That's not to say that Archons are not sly, below the rug movements. They definitely are like that in an aristocratic, businessy sort of way, you'll find, but it's because they're like the most humanoid kind of reptile. And when I say reptilians, we're not talking about Archons, even though I think they're just the most humanoid type of reptilian. Really. Well, they're not like the most humanoid type of grey or anything like that, or an Octurian grey hybrid, or all the other subsets of these main sets of like a reptile, a grey, you know, an Archon. I don't think it's just something different, in my opinion, and I really think they work different to the reptilians that we see, like that put us in the sleep paralysis. You know, the Archons don't do that, for instance. I've also mentioned in a previous video how they're similar to like that, I think it's Star Trek Helena Chronicles, some fan-based like Star Trek. I randomly stumbled upon it because when I go through people's great works, I go through the entire great works, and I didn't realise it wasn't even from Gene Roddenberry anyway. Anyway, so it's like some fan-based one, and the way they act in that Star Trek Helena Chronicles, I'm pretty sure it was that one, it's by that lady, some lady creator, and it's the way they act is more like that. And it'll be like sexual control even can come into it, and I was going to get onto that at the end here, like very abusive relationships. Excuse me. So yeah, they can hold that energy a lot, you know, like the very abusive relationships can come out, and it's constant abuse that will never stop. Not like a hiffy-tiff of a little souled human argument or something, but, you know, where it's like maybe one heightened, you know, like the swords clashing, but it's not so much like that. It's like a lasting agony type thing, and they create virtual realities. And geez, it's going to get bad when we have actual virtual reality, I'll tell you what. But yeah, they create virtual realities in your mind, which are fear-based, and they turn you into the compromised mind. Now that's not the same as saying the monkey mind, because that's a little bit, there's a differentiation again, but it's the compromised mind. This is the surface virus mind. Yes, it's essentially associated with the monkey brain and monkey mind behavior as well, but not the entirety of that. It's just associated with some subsets of the monkey mind. It's the compromised mind. When you use it, you compromise yourself. For a souled human, fear is not an option. It's not even an option for a souled human, because you cease to become the vector then. You're a vectored, souled, positive human, and if you're a positive souled human, you're a vector. Sorry, I meant to say. That was a bit tongue-twistish. But if you're a positive souled human, you're a vector of the universe, of God, whatever you want to say, the planet. But you're a vector, unlike a negative souled human, unlike an inured souled human, unlike a robotic portal, unlike a organic portal. Those are not vectors. You're the vector as a positive souled human, and fear is not an option for you because it turns on the reception of higher light. And as a vector, if you turn off the reception of higher light, you cease to become that vector and integrating the upper dimensions or the infinite timeless domain. Anyway, so in my opinion, the Archons are fairly different behaving. They'll be more humanistic than the reptiles hanging off your wall cloaked. Do you understand? And they both prey on the weak. Yeah, there's some commonalities, but so do grey aliens, you know, they prey on the weak too. But look, these are astral entities, people call them, and future identities re-entering timelines as kind of a minded entity without a body time cell. This stuff doesn't make so much sense. You see how we're fizzing off into the end of, yeah, you might go have a good think about it, but it's better to come back to the lower end of this and discuss the behaviors. And so this is what I've seen. This does not encompass everything. This is just quickly what I thought of recently. They prey definitely on the weak. I'll notice that. It's very parasitic, their mindset. They are actually using the compromised mind in some fashion where they're unconscious about it. Because if you use the compromised mind as a souled human, you feel it's wrong. But they don't. And yeah, I've noticed they prey even on fun. If you're fun, conscious playfulness, they seem to think, in my opinion, that it's like weakness, that you're showing weakness. And they'll be quite serious type of people, these organic portal Archon type of people. It's always about fear and control, remember. That's going to come through in many myriads of ways. The entire gamut of ways that can happen, they will go for and use. That's at their disposal. Do you understand? It's said that the dark knows itself to hold all thoughts away from the stream. Yeah, they're always bosses as well. Trying to highlight. They're always like bossy sort of people. They're high up in like control sector, nature of society. Very often that's where you'll find very powerful Archons. There'll be probably a lot of them in the police force, for instance, but in any sort of controlling situation as a boss in a restaurant even. Doesn't matter, but just always like, you know, in that sort of position I notice. and this is where they get close to Draco energy. You know, that Draco energy. It's a little bit differentiated by the Dracos really are trying to create dead resonance grids and cities. But like Archon is, I don't know, it's a more neurotic control state. That's how I differentiate it. Dead resonance zone is more Draco energy. Okay, and like I said, for the Archons. So the servants in training are not a worry. Alright, they always have these little, like, sort of people in training around them. There's always henchmen. Yeah, I won't say too much about that actually right now. So they're easily beat via returned what I say here? Yeah, returned fear. So if you can make them fear, it snaps them out of the sort of demonic trance they're in. If you can make the OP fear in the right way. As man, head of spirit, we're sometimes very good at that, but it can be as easy as fuck. Yeah, I almost said it, but I didn't hit the profanity filter. I just said F you, but you know the word I meant. It can be as much as simple as, sorry, a profanity like the F word that are almost pronounced. And that can shock the concentration, you see. And fearlessness, never, like, you know, don't bow. And that ruins also, it also creates like a cognitive dissonance. It ruins the vibration that's being output by the archonic energy. How to defeat non-violently? Yeah, do not reply to them, only speak to them. Do not reply to them, only speak to them. Yeah, look, they create mind control realities surrounding you, okay? And that's why they're said to be the creators of the Matrix, because it's not that, oh god, I don't want to get into these esoteric stories. People are like, oh, the Archons created the Matrix and humans, they're the new Anunnaki. F off. This is why I don't speak about stuff in those ways, because you easily lose control if your lexicon is not abled. And our lexicon as monkeys is probably not the best. But anyway, so Archons create mind control realities surrounding you, really, okay? Just be very wary of that, and that's why they are the creators of the Matrix, because every moment they do this, they're creating the Matrix. The Matrix is a mind control system, not just the corporation buildings on the street, not the police or something. That's not the Matrix. The Matrix is a mind control system or reality, okay? A system, I would say. So that's how they create the Matrix, and have created the Matrix, simply by their behavior in creating it, day in, day out, okay? So we don't need to go into some esoteric BS story, belief system story. No BS here, just talking about the behavior of what you can all see. You can all see all this stuff. Tune into what I'm saying here and you'll start to see this. Yeah, they hold you via the fear-pain body. Okay, so look, if you're a sugar addict, you're up Pooh Creek without a paddle. I don't know if I can use the word S-H-I-T, but yeah, you know that famous Australian saying, you're up S Creek without a paddle. If you're like a sugar eater, because it's easy for them to send an abhorrent vibration which makes you want to emotionally eat. So you need to get off sugar to deal with Archons, because otherwise they'll put you in, you're very susceptible parasitically and for the abhorrent vibration, and your auric field is not there. I was going to say is not. So yeah, what else did I say here? Yeah, they put you in a fear-pain complex. but you're souled human, dirigible, and free to move. So one situation is they may lock you in a situation, a job you don't want to work and make you believe you need that job, a relationship that they'll make you think that you're meant to be in a relationship with them when you don't have to be, and that's why you'll get a lot of Archons in abusive relationships. But it can be a job situation, a living situation, a relationship, boy, girl, okay, so that's how they'll keep you in a sort of virtual reality, okay, and now let's upscale that and notice our entire recording cut out, sorry, at 15 minutes. As I was saying, I believe I was saying that they put you in pain energies and do not stay stuck there within the fear, turning off the higher light receptivity because you're too scared to move or something, okay? Because that's what they want. You're then their slave. They love slaves, the Archons. Archons create very abusive relationships, constant abuse that will never stop, and not like a little hiffy tiff of a little souled human argument, or it might be quite quick, but it's like really long lasting agony because it's more of an energy stealing thing. Remember, that's what the whole organic portal thing is about. These people are organic portals, are energy stealers necessarily, if they get the chance. Now the Archon is just probably, I would have to say, the worst at that. Yes, yeah, I would say that they are the worst energy stealers, and it's via this way, and they pull that energy in directly for the Matrix, you see. It's very interesting. On the hive mind, it piggybacks straight to the mainframe. Don't forget, though, that you are dirigible as a positive souled human. You're dirigible, capable of being steered and guided by the planet logos, the planetary mind, which is obviously taking its light from the good side of the universe, or the light, from the sun, and it's in the beat of the galactic center and so on, this universal central sun. But you are dirigible. You're capable of being steered and guided like that. The Archons are demonically steered and guided, which is, like I said before, the darkness knows itself to have all thoughts that exist away from the stream. And I always talk about how organic portals are atrophy. Now, it's more like entropy because they are, like I said, kind of like Smith out of the Matrix. Very directly connect. You know how Smith becomes like very connected to the Matrix and he can do all this amazing stuff? And he becomes like a Neo too? Well, Agent Smith in the movie The Matrix I'm talking about, and he gets that ability to turn everyone into himself. While I'm not saying Archons do that necessarily, they definitely have that behavior where they'll put you in fear, and then if you're weak, then you will put other people in fear, and that's how the abuse is carried, intergenerationally. So this is the way we see Archons, not 8 meter tall blah blah blahs, interdimensional entities. We don't need to know about that right now. Maybe I'll make a 4th video where we'll talk about the upper dimensional aspects of Archons. Maybe not, maybe. But I really think that this is much more pragmatic and practical for you all to view the behavior, because they come through the organic portals after all. So the main things I want to summarize and conclude is about the mind control realities and virtual realities via fear, which turns off the higher light reception.